Hey everybody, Grant Miller here, Miami Community Newspapers with Walter Prio, FastSigns number 91. And I asked him, what's 91? That's the 91st store in the country?
No, in Miami. Actually, the gentleman I bought the store from, he was number 91. And now somebody called me the other day of a FastSigns in Miami, and they said to me 243. So you can imagine how long ago.
Well, is that how you guys talk? I'm number 92, I'm 98.
Well, we send our emails. Like, for example, if you want to send an email to me, send it to 91@fastsigns.com.
Okay, but let's talk about Walter. You know, this accent of yours is like a little confusing. So I understand
I'm from
you're from
Montana.
New York. What? Where are you from?
Montana.
Montana. So you got a deep New York accent. You're born in New York?
Yes, I was born in New York.
And then you went
Queens,
to,
actually, Astoria, Queens.
in Queens?
Yes, yes.
And you're talking about it. You're proud about it, huh?
Absolutely.
You ask people, you know, it's like, where you live? Miami. You know, if I live in one of the cheap suburbs, I'm from Miami. You say people from Queens are very proud about it.
Well, I want to tell you why. I think especially Astoria, we're the most multi-ethnically largest population, even said by the United Nations. So if you go to an Italian restaurant in Astoria, they're Italians. If you go to a Thai restaurant in Astoria, they're Taiwanese, and Taiwanese are eating there. You know, it's Greek. You go there, they're throwing the dishes, they're breaking the dishes. And I think that's really helped me in my life because it exposed me to a lot of different cultures.
So how did you end up in Miami?
Well, I was in the Eden Rock in January in shorts and in a short sleeve, and the barmaid, whose name was Kitty, said to me, "Walter, can I make you a drink?" And I said, "Absolutely."
How long ago was this?
About 14 years ago.
Okay.
And there it was. I was sitting looking out at the ocean with a full moon over the ocean, and it was a terrible snowstorm in New York. And I said, you know what? I got to live here. Because I was living in Long Beach, New York at the time. I wasn't living in Astoria. I was living 6 houses off the beach, and the summer was only 2 months, 3 months. So it got very depressing. Came September, the gray sky came in. I wanted to live someplace where it was summer, the eternal summer.
Wow. Well, I tell people all the time, there's no better place in the world than Miami.
No better place. You can't get me back to New York and put a gun to my head in the winter.
So, all right. So, when you moved to New York, did you go right into FastSigns?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you've been doing it 12. My brother's in the house.
Hey, Walter Prio's in the house.
You ready to start over, Michael? You ready to come in?
Ready to come in? Whenever
Okay.
you do it.
So I'm going to finish 1 second. So, okay. So Walter, how'd you get involved with FastSigns?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what. As being in the marketing for a company called Fedway in New Jersey of Hispanic wine and spirit products, I decided to come and go into the sign business because it's the same kind of idea. You're marketing. You're getting people's ideas across, and that's the whole idea of how it's very creative, and I like that idea. So now I've taken the 30 years I was in the liquor industry, combined it with 12 years of being in the sign making business, and created my own little out-of-the-box way of doing signs and marketing products.
You know, it's interesting because we painted our building in March, actually in February, at that point we were going to put up a sign, and then COVID came and we said, okay, we're not going to do it. So we did something to attract people to the building. We put up U.S. flags, state of Florida and United States flags. So now, that, if you will, that's our sign, but we are going to customize it for us. The other day, I was describing to the building. I said, it's a gray building with flags. And somebody else who's a little bit older didn't know that. And he says, well, where are you? Where's your sign? So, Walter, you're going to be on, baby.
Well, listen. I just a quick thing is that's the biggest thing a business can do, is putting their sign out in front. And it has to depend on what kind of business you have. But remember, a lot of this is the most complicated part is getting the permit for the sign.
Yes.
That's so we do that. We have a person that runs the material for us. But it's one of the trickiest things. If someone's going to sell you a sign and say, no, you don't need a permit, just put it up, don't buy the sign. You're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and you're going to get caught, and it's going to be a lot of grief.
Yeah.
I was knocking on some doors a couple of years ago. The guy was saying, well, I don't think people are reading this or doing that. I said, well, let me ask you something. He says, people don't come in saying they saw my ad. I said, well, let me ask them. you have a sign on the building, right? I said, when people come in, do they say, I'm here because of the sign? No. I said, but that directs them to you, right? And so signs, they have to be reflective of the personality of the owners of the business. And we look forward to coming up with something that's going to work for us.
And I think, too, a lot of it is, especially today in today's market where everybody's budget may be a little tight, you really have to decide how much you're going to really spend and what kind of business you have depending on the sign. You know, it's a lot different if you want to be a restaurant, you want a tractician, or if you're an accountant and you're doing something. In fact, we just put one up today, which was you go from just having a light box with an acrylic slit in, which is probably the less expensive way to go. But again, you have to decide on the area you're in. They may not allow you to do that. Some areas you can only have channel letters that are reverse lit, that the light doesn't even come out through the front. So it really, all these things go into the factor.
Not too long ago, a fella comes in, he said, Michael, I'd like to buy some ads in Inspire Health. I said, okay. We talked, and I said, by the way, we can make that ad for you. He said, really? I said, yes. He says, the only reason I come in before because I thought that he had to make it. I said, would you rather I told you at the beginning? He said, absolutely. So when you brought up, hey, listen, we're going to handle that, because the average guy says, I don't know anything about it. I need somebody to take care of it. I don't want to do the grief. I don't know what's needed. And we've tried to process permits ourselves here in the beautiful city of Pleasant Living. It became unpleasant, only because we didn't know how to do it, right? Yeah. And so everything was an experiment for us.
But, one of the most important things you got to really realize is that, especially if you're opening a business or have a business and you're looking to make it more attractive, is the sign is just one factor. The windows, the glass, okay? That, today you can only have 20% advertisement on the window, but it's a big advertisement. Sometimes I almost think it's more important than the sign on top, because it's drawing the attention to your customers. The other thing is the wall sign. As you come in, like for example, you have a lady that sits at the front of the desk that people come in. When people walk in, that first moment and see that sign, that's your signature. That's your way of being. So it's really important. And
we have Denise, who, if we're lucky, she can bring in some espresso. Thank you very much, Denise. We've been working together since we were, a few decades.
I just want to say one thing, though. I was watching your show yesterday with the rabbi. I was so impressed with that rabbi, and I was so impressed with
Harlech.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, living the moment was one of the, the gentleman was actually, you could see what a holy man he was. That direct thought touched me, and I'm sure touched a lot of people, had nothing to do with religion.
He was the first Orthodox rabbi that I met, and I thought it was so kooky. And here I am now, 10 years later, going and embracing him as a human being, and the things that, thank you very much, Denise, and understanding what the things that he brought up that you made note with, right there would be good, so I won't spill it on anybody. So Yossi Harlech, Chabad of Kendall and Pinecrest, he's a good friend, and interesting enough, he said to me, your son, there's a gentleman who's met your daughter at another rabbi's place. I'm going to call and find out what kind of guy he is. And he calls me back, and he calls the other rabbi. He says, oh, he's fine. He's going to be your son-in-law. And I went, what? Me being a father-in-law? Me being, yes, sir. And 2 years later, bang, there it was. So they had arranged that all between them. And I'm sure it was like a plan to get me there. That's how I found out that they were going to get married.
Break it to you. Very good.
So let's go again. You make all sorts of signage, and it's not just sign, but it's a whole process.
But not only that, but we do custom work. Custom, that's the secret. Not only that, but today, in fact, that's one of the reasons why Manuel works with me. He's a great artist. Is that art? Yes, Manuel.
Right over there.
Right.
Yeah, same guy.
Yes. Okay. It's hard to see now that with the mask.
Manuel, I'm a New Yorker. Obviously, my accent and everything, and I've lived in an apartment.
Fooled us.
And I lived in an apartment. Well, actually, I lived in Montana, but for some reason, it never shook my accent. But I lived in an apartment, and I raised in an apartment for many years. And apartments can be pretty dreary places. So you need to put art. Everybody has that dead wall that they don't know what to do. And this is where creativity comes into, where we can go print something, a family picture, cut in a piece of acrylic special, do a wall in the bedroom of a child that's being born, or already child, an adult. These are those creativity things, because you're going to live in that apartment for a long time, so you want to do different things, and we can do them inexpensively, because I've seen so many of these manufactured stores where they buy these paintings and stuff in Mexico, and then they charge you $300, $400.
So this, for the typical businessman, when we think of sign, we think of the sign over the building or on the window. But you customize make people's houses into their homes by putting together in the things that they're looking for.
And custom for them personally. It isn't something that we're buying 300 of the same sign and we send them to 40 stores. This is your sign. This is your picture, your painting, your artwork that could be on the wall.
And one day soon, we're going to have something else over here, I know. And Walter Prio is going to help us put this together.
Yeah, he's got a special promo that they're doing.
Yeah, but I was so impressed yesterday with everything you're doing and everything. And I said, today, one of the things, businesses and everything, is we have to get out there and start telling people what we want, what we have in our stores, what we need people to know. So I'm being from New York, I don't know if you knew a guy named Crazy Eddie.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
So today, hold on. He was the refrigerators and stuff.
Right, refrigerator. I'm the.
Say refrigerators.
Right.
Well, not actually, TVs, it's refrigerators.
Yeah, no, but he did refrigerators, TVs, the whole thing, and But today,
when was that, by the way?
When was that? I think it was in the early 70s.
The guy, he really made a name for himself.
Yeah, and he's living maybe in Israel now. I think.
So did you see how my brother starts to shout, Grant Miller?
Yeah,
right?
Right, exactly.
There are people that come up to him and do that. He's walking down the street, they do that. So let's
all right,
let's hear it.
Well, I think if just because for today, for this show, for the whole, anytime you walk into my store and the Millers, this could be it. All right, and here we go. This could be your sign for $2.99.
This is perfect.
Okay,
Right
this
here,
is
let
your
me see it.
sign.
Okay, folks, listen. This could be your sign for $2.99 at Doral FastSigns. Call Walter Prio, all right? And we have this. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is good for a while. Hey, Grant, here's your next promotion. Forget the coffee mugs, okay? Forget the donuts. All right, here it is right here. Thank you so much. This is great.
This is for anybody from your place. You can come in, and not only that, but we're going to have, today, right now, during the pandemic, there's a shortage of A-frames, those little that are out. Everybody needs to put something in front of their store. Those things are going sometimes about $250. We can make out of acrylic an A-frame, and we're
acrylic,
we're going to Coroplast. We're going to make a Coroplast, this material, right, into an A-frame, and print it on one side. We'll sell it to you for $45, and you want two sides. Being it's from this place, $55.
There we go. Crazy Eddie adds that work right here, and Tommy's having a good time back here. That's terrific, and we're gonna see if we can drive some people over to see you. So again, you're in Doral. I think they're one of the best cities in Miami-Dade County. Sorry, South Miami, Palmetto Bay. All right, the only other rival really is Coral Gables. All right. In the sense that two fine cities, great management, great leaders over there, great business from small businesses to international businesses.
Well, to be honest with you, the reason our store originally, the store from the owner and time I bought it, the store is actually over 25 years old, okay? My staff has been there, worked for the original owner. I have people that have been working for me now 12 years, but they worked for the other guy 10 years. But the reason I moved from Flagler to Doral is Hoboken. I don't know if you know Hoboken, New Jersey. That's where Frank Sinatra was born, okay? And it was in its glory, and then of course it had it went down, But then all of a sudden there was this great renaissance that happened, and people who had owned these brownstones that they bought for maybe $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 are now selling for $1 million. The city grew overnight, okay? And that's it, because they're right across from New York, Manhattan, downtown Wall Street, and they could take a ferry back and forth, and the place exploded.
By the way, that process of towns being there, and then it goes down, and then it gets to be the price low enough and tough enough that people take a chance. and they go in, and all of a sudden it's this house, and it's this one, and it's this business, and all of a sudden
It's
you have
young
a thriving
people
business.
too. Let's face it, it's young. People starting families and different things. But what's most important about is that Doral grew because of, believe it or not, 8 inches. Okay, somebody made the Panama Canal 8 inches bigger. The foresight of the people in politics here decided to make deeper the bays and the where the ships are coming in, so super tankers could come in. So up in Philadelphia, where the super tankers are coming in, it takes 3 days for the product to get to the train. Okay, in our ports, it takes 45 minutes to get onto the train. And then you could take it to Doral for distribution. So that city is just growing both in apartment buildings and in businesses. So I that's why I wanted to be there.
All right, and you have how many square feet is your
Over 5,000 square
that's
feet.
significant. And you're open 6 days?
No, 5 days.
5 days?
Because the Saturday, everybody wants me to make numbers for their boats.
Okay.
So I decided that that's not really a good idea for me. I give everybody
I
a
thought you
day's
could
rest.
say put something about numbers. Sorry, no gambling here. So anyway,
But we will, if by appointment, we would open up for something.
I'm delighted that you're here, and thank you for the things that you have done for us and about to do for us.
I'm looking for pleasure and many more things, hopefully. And I got to comment that it's such a beautiful show you do. So it's so interesting. And I tuned in just to see you yesterday, and I got hooked. They started yelling at me that I wasn't working because it was so fascinating, the show.
One of the things that we recognize, and I think most people do, but be able to share something about the person, get them to open up, because that's really what we want. We want to know somebody, all right? Yes, a doctor, he could be an A doctor or B doctor, but if you know a little bit more about him, if you know a little bit more about the businessman, the show, the human part of it, people are more apt to do that. And they want to be able to say hi to you and have some connection. We know there's an election coming up in the city of Doral. And so I just want to remind everybody, make sure you vote for the candidate of your choice. Early voting, late voting, get out there, vote, all right? Please make sure you vote. This is your opportunity for local and regional and, of course, nationally. And everybody stay calm, all right? Just be cool at election time. Make sure that you know. That
This is a democracy, so all of us have a choice.
Yes. And so, again, we hope that all the candidates do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So,
But I just want to say another thing that was fascinating is that you personally connect with people. You say, "Oh, I saw you mention my name yesterday." You do that. I mean, it was so. I felt so like connected to your show. It was something I'd never seen a person in this style of business doing. And I want everybody to know here in the program that at any time you send these guys a question about sign or a sign you'd like, whether you buy it from me or not, you can always call in these gentlemen. I'll be glad to answer it.
George Gonzalez, he wants to know, do you make T-shirts?
If you want, I'd be glad to arrange it.
So, George, he's going to take care of you. What, George, listen up. It's Doral FastSigns. What's your phone number?
It's 305-227-6250.
All right, and also, okay, he's going to put it in the comments there. And also, guys, his website is right there, fastsigns.com/91.
But important though is somebody who wants to put some kind of sign to get their ideas across to their customer. I'll be glad to answer, because the biggest mistake everybody makes is they put too many words on a sign. You have to keep 3 main ideas. We just recently had a screen. I donated money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation to the people of Costco, and so they had asked us to borrow the screen. We have like a video, TV screen that plays different things. So they had people donate money and put their ads on our TV, and it was placed over there. In fact, we're going to be picking it up today. But the biggest mistake everybody makes is they want to put the 40, 50 things that they do.
I know. We were in the newspapers for 50 years. Everybody wants to jam the stuff in.
Exactly.
Like
You need come 3 good ideas, and you go with it. But again, I'll be glad to help and do anything I can for anybody.
So, Walter, a couple of years ago, we met with some people out from the county, the traffic department out where we live, And we told the guy from the traffic department, we want traffic circles, we want this, we want that. He says, what would you like to accomplish? And we tell him, and I said, we would like to slow down the traffic. And he says, well, I will look into my bag and I'll see what tools I have to accomplish that. I said, what does that mean? You could have sidewalks, you could have trees, you could have traffic circles, you could have humps, bumps, a whole bunch of stuff. So when somebody walks into your store, they may say, I want a sign, but there's something they want from that, which is whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, you have to. What is your business and why do you want to do it? Those are the two biggest questions. But you know something. But I'm talking about traffic and is that just recently now for all people that are living in enclosed communities that are on these community boards, you better be aware right now that the old speed limit signs that you have in wood are now illegal, and you're going to have to redo them. So you're going to have to look, all signs that are on private property inside these communities have to meet standards of
No longer
reflective.
wood.
No, it has to be it has to meet the same standard as the signs out in the street.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So there's a boom coming up then.
Yes.
In science. So congratulations on that. You didn't pass that legislation, did you?
No, unfortunately, believe me, I'm lucky. I get to pay a parking ticket, let alone to pass legislation.
So again, our guest today is Walter Prio from FastSigns in Doral, and he's quite the gentleman, folks. So please contact him if you need any signage and some ideas about how to get done what you want to get done. Again, Walter, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody.
And well, nice seeing you again. And Tommy, thank you. Grant, thank you for doing that. And,
Tommy, you make me look good all the time.
Yes. All right. And we're going to say, see you later. Have a good day. And many, yep, okay, there we go.